First of all, just what's been the general reaction, kind of atmosphere around here after all the stuff that transpired last night?
We had a real spirited practice. I think everybody's excited. I think last night we were ready to play. It was disappointing not to play. It got to a stage, the longer that it went, and it was being prolonged and prolonged. I'm glad that ultimately we didn't play. It just felt like it was completely out of rhythm after we went 45 minutes deep. And so at that stage, I think everybody was, okay to just call it a day and move on. Initially, the reaction is you're disappointed, you want to play. Today we came in and took sort of what ended up being a night off and sort of recalibrated and repointed it into a really spirited, excellent practice.
You got any indication that the building has figured things out and that everything's all good for tomorrow, or no?
I don't really know anything about that. It's out of my wheelhouse. I do know that what I ended up seeing today in relation to the players and their attitude and their energy was an A+.
Before the minutes got increased for the matchup didn't factor into which game they chose in that situation.
Do you say that one more time now?
Like he's going to play against Orlando, not
Yeah,
the Celtics.
right.
Is the matchup now a factor or not?
Good question. No, it really isn't. Lots of things come into it, and probably to say no categorically would not be completely true. So many things go into it, and it's just so many things go into it. And so I suppose in some small way, probably it does a little bit. But it's a communication that I have with Joe, and we feel him, feel how he's feeling physically, and we discuss it. And then we come up with a decision.
You guys probably aren't totally in the clear yet, but it sounds like more and more bodies were back at practice today. Just to be on that path, what does it do for you?
I mean, all over the place. You just feel, when you look at the schedule and the volume of games at home, when you look at the health improvement, when you see, the minute restrictions sort of being lifted a little bit, when you feel like you're actually getting better because you're having a chance to coach a consistent type of group and rhythm, then you feel more confident. And I like where we're at. I like the group. We feel like we're getting better, and I feel like winning and walking down close games. I think we all feel like the games that we're going to win, we expect them probably to be close games. So we go overboard and all the situational stuff. And what are we going to do? Timeouts, substitutions, what are we running, what are we going to do if Joel or when Joel gets double teamed, all that. And I just feel like we're in a pretty good place as a team.
Can you take us through what you had Nerlens do today and how did he look?
He did a little bit. He scripted with the group. He got up and down the floor. There was nothing competitive. It was more 5-on-0 stuff. A very large part of Nerlens' routine going forward will be sitting in a classroom, learning what we're actually doing more and more and more. And so to get the integration of classroom education along with on-court production, the real-time stuff, we feel like that'll move him more forward more quickly. But today it was more just, 5-on-0, him getting up and down.
He's been with the team for longer than most people here. What do you want him to learn at this point?
Well, he's got where do I begin? I mean, he's got a whole new set of teammates. The point of emphasis in the past is completely different as it relates to our post spacing with Joe and Ja and what we're doing around it. How does he treat Covington? I mean, how does he treat Gerald Henderson? How does he play with Dario and Ersan? What happens when Jared comes back in? I mean, I don't even know where to begin. It's completely different, and so there's lots to learn.
Brett, with Orlando having a pretty tall front line, is there any chance that Joel and Ja will play together?
There is a chance, yeah.
Good chance. Is it something you're looking forward to? Is it something you think you can explore?
I think it's something that I am looking forward to. I think everybody is curious. I'm fascinated how curious everybody is. It's quite interesting. But I'm amongst that. I think that what I keep saying is like if we feel that Jaleel's got a good chance of guarding Serge Ibaka and things like that, then that will influence how much we actually do it. For me, it's always about, are you putting your team in a position to win? Are you helping the team? And when you feel like the matchups just don't favor that answer, that question, then I don't do it. And so I think, tomorrow night there might be a chance, but it's always on my mind, and I personally do look forward to trying it.
Coach,
When do you think we'll have a chance to see all three of them soon?
I'm not really sure. I think it's a ways away. I think New Orleans is still, a ways away. To quantify that in relation to days or weeks, I can't do that, but I don't see it in the foreseeable future. The next 4 or 5 games, I can't see it, so I'm not really sure. My mind is completely around what we got moving forward with Joel's increase of minutes and exploring the chances and opportunities to put those two together.
That said, yesterday you said that when Ben comes back, he's going to be a point guard. That's a progression, I guess, from we might have him play point guard at some point on draft night to we definitely want to see him play point guard at some point on media day to he's going to be a point guard when he comes back. Why did that progression take place in your mind?
I think it was 100% me, realizing what we have, understanding that Jared Bayless could comfortably play a 2, to talking with Ben Moore, to understanding the opportunity that we have to try this and to grow this. This is something that I think would be a mistake if we didn't try it. I think the more I studied him and studied film and talked with him, I spent a lot of time with him since his injury, the more comfortable I feel like this is the right path. And your progression that you just laid out is true. And I felt like initially to just say, welcome to the NBA, 19-year-old who's never played a point guard in your life, and here's the gym, here's the ball, was borderline cruel, was not very responsible. And I think as time has unfolded, talking more with him, seeing the team that we have, studying more and more and more what he actually brings to the table, I want to try it.
Did Joel Embiid's ability to sort of integrate himself after watching so much for 2 years, did that influence you at all, knowing that he wasn't able to play either, but all of a sudden, boom, he took this leap from where he was at Kansas to being a viable starting center? Do you think Ben Simmons is growing that way mentally as well, watching and understanding the concept?
I do, and it's part of the answer that I just gave you. It's a fair question. The more time I sit with him in my office all the time, and I keep using it's the Gruden stuff with NFL quarterbacks. Tell me what you see, Ben. What are the reads? What would you do? Why do you think that? And the more and more and more time I talk with him, the more I feel comfortable he can grow to that, and he can accept that responsibility at a very early age. And I just feel like the more and more we thought about it, and it's on me. The whole thing is my decision. I feel comfortable that's what we're going to grow him to be, and certainly going to try right from the start.
Can he defend point guards as well?
I think he can. I think he can. I think when you look at his athleticism and you combine that with his intellect, and part of my discussions when I'm with him is, what do you see in relation to guarding, let's pick the best, Chris Paul, and how would you guard that, And so he talks all the time about space and touch distance and understanding angles and our pick and rolls defense behind him, like what will Joel be in and so on. And so he asks the right questions, and I steer him sometimes and point him and give him a little bit of hints. But I think that, yes, I do feel like he can. And only like anything will time prove me right or wrong. But that will be the plan. I intend on making him like what we all would know to be a legitimate point guard, and we're going to try him defending other point guards.
Coach, you talk. Oh, sorry.
Because if you don't, you get into real funky trouble with cross-match and transition. Like him, having to look all over the place and so on. And I just feel that it's best for us to try it that way.
Coach, we talked about Jalil possibly guarding DeMarcus Cousins last night, and Serge Ibaka, guys who can certainly space the floor. Is he more prepared to chase around fours, I guess, is the question? And
Jalil?
Yeah, than he was last season, or is there progress there?
I don't know. We haven't really looked at it. I think, he's a year older, so you give him the benefit of the doubt. He's got a better chance. But to have a body of work that would make me comfortably give you a, really strong answer would be just sort of reckless. I feel like what we do know is that Joel Embiid at the rim and protecting the rim has proven to be statistically strong. And so it really leaves you with, let's take Jaleel and let's grow that if, in fact, they are able to successfully coexist and play with each other.
Brett, if Ben played point, how would that shift the rest of the lineup? So you put Bayless now.
I don't know. I don't know. I think
would that give you more opportunities though for perimeter shooting, because if Bayless shifts to the 2 and then
maybe
the 2s become the small 3s?
I mean, you would think that, yes, you would think that. I think to sort of know what that truly means, I'm not sure, but I understand your question. You would feel like you can start sprinkling some shooters around Ben with the ball, and our big guys at the rim, and go shooter. Like that is, to me, sort of you start getting into perfect world on how you want to play.
Would it not benefit Ben to take in games from the bench courtside? Soon, yeah. I do, and I think your question is also, it's a fair question. I think all the stuff that we're doing is really good stuff. I've said over and over, there's nobody that's had more practice dealing with injured players than we have. And the path that he is on right now, from physiotherapists to shot doctors to me in a classroom to, him just being on the court watching teammates, that next phase, it's true, getting him completely immersed with the team, especially if all of a sudden you're going to say, welcome back and here's the ball. Yes.
Did everyone seem like you dug being back around? I know he probably didn't do a ton, but how did he seem?
I feel like he likes being around his teammates. His teammates like being around him. Everybody understands that it's a little bit awkward. Everybody understands that there is some level of a log jam at a position. We all get it. We talk freely about it. And so there's no elephant in the room as it relates to any of that type of stuff. Him just coming back and saying hello to teammates and interacting with friends was very natural today. It looked, I bet if you asked him that he would have enjoyed an experience that he just hasn't had in a while.
Right, just to clarify with Ben, when you say you want him to play you see him playing the point, would this be a 2-point or a point forward combo?
Just that. He's a true point guard. He's got the ball.
So like he would play the one.
Yeah.
Start one. Okay.
Yeah, I see him having the ball.